Hi, welcome to Yoga at the Library. We're going to do a little bit of everything today and move quite a bit, but we'll begin down on the floor, on our mats, on our backs. You don't need any props today unless you like to have a towel or just your mat to fold over and cushion those knees. And we're going to get a stretch all the way from the head down to the toes today. So let's get started. Coming down on our backs. Maybe it feels better to have the knees bent. Maybe it feels better to have the legs out long, checking in to see what position feels the best for you right now. I can almost guarantee by the end of class it will be a different position. But right now, just see what feels good for you, how you can lay on the floor in the best way for yourself at this time. Feeling the back of your pelvis against the floor. Noticing how much of your spine touches the floor here. Noticing the back of your rib cage, the back of your head, the backs of your arms. Whatever is making contact with the floor, let those places be soft and heavy. We'll take a big deep breath in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. Another one just like that, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Noticing again those places pressing into the floor. And this time when we breathe in and out on our exhale, get a little bit heavier and a little bit softer. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, heavier and softer than before. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Notice your body softening, flattening, spreading out into the floor. We've got slime is the thing at my house right now, and you'll make a ball of it and leave a nice ball on the table and come back like 10 minutes later and it's flat. That's what we're doing to an extent. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest, letting the elbows relax on the floor. So belly and chest are kind of relative depending on how your body's set up, where your elbows are. We want to be able to relax the arms, but the hands to the body just kind of give us another reference point for this breathing exercise. I'm going to breathe into the chest and into the belly. And let it all out. Into the chest, feeling it rise, and into the belly, feeling it rise, and letting it out. Now we're going to get fancy with our exhale, breathing into the chest, into the belly, out through the belly and out through the chest. Into the chest, into the belly, out through the belly and out through the chest. One more time. Chest, belly, belly, chest. And take the arms out to the sides. If your legs are long, go ahead and bend your knees. Taking a big deep breath in here. And on your exhale, letting the knees come down to one side. Inhaling, knees come back up to center. And exhaling down to the other side. We'll do that a couple more times, slowly with the breath. Inhaling, knees to center. And exhaling, knees down. Inhaling, knees to center. And exhaling, knees down. We'll bring the knees back up to center. Go ahead and walk those heels in close to the booty. And bring the arms down alongside the body. Let's bring the palms down to the mat. We're going to wake up the back body a little bit. So we're planting the feet, pressing into the feet to lift the hips up on an inhale. And exhale to lower on down. Inhaling to lift the hips up, maybe making a straight line from the shoulders to the hips to the knees. And exhaling to lower on down. 2 more of those. Inhaling, lifting. And exhaling, lowering. Inhaling, lifting. And exhaling, lowering. Alrighty, let's go ahead and straighten that left leg. Hug the right knee in. We'll make circles with the right knee. Big circles or little circles. Holding on to the front of the knee or behind the knee, to the thigh, whatever feels good to you, whatever makes sense for your body. Switch directions. Feeling out the range of motion in your right hip today, squeezing through those hip flexors at the front of the hip. Oh my goodness. And we'll extend that right leg long on the mat. Hugging the left knee in, maybe holding on to the front of the knee, maybe behind the knee, maybe the thigh. Making circles with the left knee. Feeling out this hip. Massaging out this hip flexor. Other way. Noticing where you feel sensations here. Feel anything going on in your back? Or is all the sensation concentrated in that hip? Just noticing what's going on. And we'll come back to center with the left knee and extend it long on the mat. Let's go ahead and reach both arms all the way up. And let's see, this is hard for me because it's alternating sides. So we'll see how our coordination does today. Taking a big deep breath in, and on the exhale, we're bringing the left knee and the right elbow towards one another and extending on the inhale. Exhaling, right knee and left elbow together. Yeah, so we're just moving with our breath. And we'll do this right side up here in a little bit from a tabletop position, but right now we're waking up the front body, getting gentle stretches through the shoulders, working out some pops and snaps and crackles perhaps. And we're getting longer. Just like that slime that spreads out as it sits on the table. That is not the best visual to think of when you're thinking of your own body. I apologize. Alrighty, when you feel even, returning to that long stretched out position, stretching from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. And we'll bring the arms out into a T, bending the knees, pressing the feet to the floor. And then let's go ahead and we're going to set up for a different kind of twist. So we're going to, instead of setting up from a T, we're going to come to the left side, stack the knees, stack the hips, stack the hands, stack the shoulders, stack the ankles, fold yourself right in half. And we'll inhale, opening up. There's the T. And exhale, closing back across. Inhaling, opening it on up. And exhale, closing back into your folded in half position. One more time. And here we'll just hang out in our twist, letting that right arm relax towards the floor, to the floor, on the floor, beyond the floor. Wherever your right arm falls, that you feel a nice twist through that spine. You can look over the right fingertips or straight up to the ceiling. And on an exhale, we'll make our way back to folded. And we'll switch sides, rolling back across center and over to the right side. Folding, stacking yourself. Hands, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. And we'll open it up into a twist. Exhaling to close. Inhaling to open. And exhaling to close it up. This time when we open into our twist, we'll hang out there. Maybe looking over the left fingertips. Maybe just looking straight up to the ceiling. Getting a good squeeze through your spine, kind of wringing out whatever you've got going on back there. On your next exhale, go ahead and fold back across. And we will make our way onto hands and knees. Bringing the knees. Let's go. We're going to go straight into child's pose actually. So we're bringing the knees wide to start. Bringing the big toes together. Sending the hips back and folding down and forward. Forehead comes down towards the mat, letting the elbows rest on the mat. Feeling a stretch through the tops of the feet, the shins, the knees, the shoulders. Feeling the spine lengthening. And we'll make our way on up to a tabletop position. Knees come underneath the hips. Wrists come underneath the shoulders. And let's go ahead and circle the heart over the wrists. So we usually, we make circles with all kinds of things in our yoga classes, but I don't know that we've ever done this kind of circle. So you can feel the stretch that your wrists are getting here. When you're over that right wrist, when you're over that left wrist, the bend is intensified. Maybe just a tiny circle is good for you. Go ahead and switch directions. Maybe a bigger circle, a wider circle, if you've got more flexible wrists. This also is strengthening the upper arms. You can probably feel that, warming up the core. Some more. Okay, we'll come back to center. And let's go ahead and take the back of the right hand to the floor. And this might be, your wrist might not make it all the way down to the floor. It might just be the backs of the fingers, and that's just fine. We're just stretching through the wrist a little bit, stretching through the top of the hand. Taking the palm back to the floor. We'll switch sides, taking the back of the left hand to the floor, maybe just the fingertips, maybe just the knuckles, maybe not the whole back of the hand, just seeing where you get to. Coming back to the palm here. Alrighty. We'll come into cat and cow here. Let's go ahead and tuck the toes, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, and lift the chin for cow. On our exhale, we'll point the toes, tuck the tailbone, round up through the spine, and tuck the chin in. Moving with your breath. And incorporating those feet, we're going to stretch our feet today. Spoiler alert. This is the first warm-up they are getting. I don't want that foot stretch to sneak up on you, because it's a doozy. Make our way back to a neutral spine. If you haven't folded your mat over yet and you are considering it, now is a great time to do that. If you hadn't even considered it yet, this is still a great time to do that. Giving yourself 2 layers of cushion underneath those knees. Alrighty, so we're coming into our tabletop, finding our tabletop again. The right leg is going to come out long behind us, level with the hip. The toes are pointing straight down towards the floor, feeling that whole leg engage. Go ahead and lift up the left arm. We're going to balance here for 3 breaths. Breathing in and out. At the end of your last exhale, go ahead and bring the hand and the knee back down, and we'll switch to the other side. The left leg comes out long, flexing the foot. The toes point straight down towards the floor. The whole leg is strong. The right arm comes long. 3 breaths here. end of your last exhale, the hand and the knee come on down. And now we're going to flow with this, just like we did before. And for fun, go ahead and tuck your toes. So we go right leg, left arm, inhaling to get long, and exhaling on down. Switching sides, right arm, left leg, and exhaling on down. Moving with your breath. Maybe a little bit faster than me, maybe a little bit slower. Noticing any sensations that might lead you to believe that you've got some asymmetry going on in your body. Anything you feel on one side that you don't feel on the other side. Just being curious about what's going on in your body. When you feel even, go ahead and bring the hands and the knees on down. We'll keep those toes tucked, and we're going to come up to stand on the knees. Shake out the wrists. Rolling them out. Check in with your knees and make sure that they are hip width apart. Take them a little bit wider even than hip width apart, keeping those toes tucked. We're going to take the right foot forward, coming into a lunge here. If your balance feels wonky, you can take the right foot farther to the right side of the mat. You can take your hands to your hips, hands to your thigh, whatever makes you feel the most balanced. And if you feel good here, you can take the arms up. Big deep breath in. And on your exhale, we're going to shift that front knee a little bit forward, shifting the hips a little bit forward. Big deep breath in. Complete exhale. And we'll bring the left hand all the way down to the floor inside of that right foot. Your right arm reaches up towards the ceiling, coming into a big twist here. Big deep breath in, reaching those fingertips really, really high. And exhaling, the hand comes all the way down. We readjust that right foot, and we're going to make our way back up to come onto both knees. A little bit wider than hip width apart. Coming forward now with the left foot. Bringing the hands to the hips, hands to the thigh, hands to the heart is an option I forgot before. Left foot can go farther out to the left if that makes your balance feel better. And if you feel good here, the arms can come out and up. Breathing here, wherever your arms are, taking a big deep breath in to get tall. And on your exhale, the hips and that left front knee move a little bit forward. Big deep breath in. And exhaling all the way out. Taking the right hand down to the floor, inside of that left foot, reaching up towards the ceiling with the left hand. Big deep breath in. And on the exhale, coming on down with both hands. And we'll make our way back to the knees. All right, here's that foot stretch you've been waiting for. We're going to bring the knees and the ankles all the way together. The heels, the ankles, whatever meets on your feet. That's what you want to meet. You want your feet as close together as they can be. Your knees as close together as they can be. And then we're gonna sit back towards those knees. We might take the hands to the floor and sit back towards those knees. Towards those knees. I mean towards those heels. Sitting the hips back towards the heels. Stretching the knees. Stretching the bottoms of the feet. We can keep the hands to the floor. We can come all the way up. We can go between the two, giving ourselves a little break, whatever feels best to you. This is a huge stretch through the toes and through the bottoms of the feet and through the knees and even through the quads. So we're breathing. We're not holding our breath. We're coming out of it, giving ourselves a break whenever we need to. We're noticing if you've got one foot tighter than the other foot. We're going to stay in for 2 more breaths. Wherever you are for this stretch. And after your last exhale, coming all the way forward into a full tabletop, untucking those toes and tapping the feet on the floor so gently to wake them back up. Alrighty, go ahead, and if you're not all the way on your mat with your toes and that, I don't know, find your way onto a spot on your mat where maybe the tops of your feet are on your mat, and we're gonna sit back onto those heels now. And again, sitting back onto the heels might look like you've got your hands to the floor, you're supporting yourself with your hands a little bit. Maybe the hips are making it all the way to those heels, and that's just fine. We're stretching here through the tops of the feet, stretching through the knees still, stretching through the fronts of the ankles and the shins. If you're all the way back on your heels, you may be able to lift one knee, getting an intensified ankle stretch here, and then the other. Just noticing what you find. Coming forward into our tabletop. And if your mat is folded, now is the time to unfold it. So we've got the whole thing. We're going to take a big old pose here and want as much mat as we can get. So we're taking a little bit wider than a regular tabletop. The hands are a little bit farther forward, a little bit wider. The knees are a little bit farther back and a little bit wider. Get your toes ready. We're going to tuck them again. And then find downward facing dog. So we're lifting up the knees, lifting up the hips, coming into a long and wide downward facing dog. Alternating, bending one knee and then the other. Waking up those hamstrings after being bent, folded for that last little series of poses. And as your hamstrings wake up for you, you can walk your feet a little bit closer to your hands. Maybe walk your hands a little bit closer to your feet. Just maybe coming into a little bit of a smaller downward facing dog, not so wide, not so long. Taking a big deep breath in, lifting those hips really, really high. And on your exhale, we're going to come forward. We're going to walk those feet all the way towards the hands. Hanging out in a forward fold with the knees slightly bent. Hands can hang down towards the floor. Head can hang down towards the floor. Just hanging out here. Feeling the stretch maybe through the back, maybe through the legs, maybe everywhere. We'll take a big bend in the knees and roll all the way up to stand. Standing up nice and tall, pressing the shoulders back. So we're going to bring the feet, or check in with your feet. We want them to be about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider than hip width apart, and parallel. Let's definitely take them wider than hip width apart and parallel. We're going to interlace the hands behind our backs, because that automatically makes the shoulders go down and back just a little bit. So we're interlacing the hands behind our backs, shoulders are back and down. We'll take the right ear to the right shoulder. Little nods up and down with the chin. Feeling out the left side of the neck. Chin comes down towards the chest. And the left ear comes to the left shoulder. Taking nods up and down, feeling out the right side of the neck. Noticing if you're tighter on this side. Noticing again if you feel something here that you didn't feel before, or vice versa. Also noticing how you're standing. Notice if your hips have shifted over to one side or the other. Notice if your knees have locked. Try to keep those legs active. Keeping the knees pointing in the same direction as the feet, even though we're having some feelings in our necks. We can swing from ear to ear, or we can make full circles with the head here. Feeling out the range of motion of the neck that feels good today. Keeping those shoulders dropped down, dropped back. Switching directions, however it feels like it makes sense for you. And we'll make our way back to center with the chin down towards the chest. Releasing the hands, letting them just hang. And then bringing the chin back up to level with the floor. Check in with your legs again. Are your feet still parallel? Are your knees pointing in the same direction as your toes? We'll bring the hands into the heart. Inhaling, taking a big deep breath in. Arms come out wide and up. Exhaling to fold forward and bow. Inhaling, long, flat spine. Hands can come to the legs. Exhaling to come all the way down. Inhaling, arms come out and up. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Arms coming out and up. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling for a long flat spine. Exhaling all the way down. Coming out and up. Exhaling, hands into the heart. We've got one more like that. Arms coming out and up. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, long flat spine. Exhaling all the way down. And coming out and up. And hands coming into the heart. Being still here. Keeping those feet right where they are, we're going to take the right hand all the way down alongside and reach up and over with the left. trying to keep the hips stacked right over those knees and ankles rather than going out to the left. We want to keep the hips where they are. And we're using that hand for a little bit of stability, reaching up and over with the left. So we're not trying to like fold our body in half sideways here. We're trying to stretch up and over and long, like a rainbow. Not like a thinking of all sorts of weird things that bend, like a sewer pipe. Gosh, I gotta come up with some better metaphors for you all. Coming back up to center, both hands meet above your head. Left hand comes down alongside, reaching up and over. Like a frisbee, not a boomerang. How's that work? Because we're curved, we're not folded. Coming back up to center. And exhaling, hands come into the heart. Alrighty, let's bring the feet all the way together here. So we've got a smaller center of gravity, a smaller base, not center of gravity, a smaller base. And then we're going to get an even smaller base because we're going to come up into tree pose. So we'll be standing on one foot and then the other. Making a little kickstand with the left heel against the right ankle. We can stay right here. Trying to keep those hips and the belly button and the heart pointing straight forward rather than letting them turn off to the left side. We can take the bottom of the foot up the inner leg. Continuing to breathe, continuing to be strong and straight up through the right side rather than letting that hip pop out. We want it to be straight up and down from that right shoulder all the way down to the right ankle. We can keep the hands at heart or we can make some shapes. Finding your pose on this side. Continuing to breathe. Big deep breath in. And on your exhale, come on down. We'll come over onto the left foot, making our kickstand. Palms come together at the heart. We can stay right here, checking in that your belly button and your heart are pointing straight forward, not turning over to the right. The foot can come up the inner leg. Hands can stay at the heart, or you can find your pose on this side. We want to make sure that we're breathing here, even though we are balancing. Big deep breath in. And exhaling to come all the way down. Alrighty, let's go ahead and find our way to the very back of our mat, very bottom of our mat. Arms come out and all the way up. Exhaling, fold all the way down. Coming up into that long, flat spine. And we're going to hang out here. So really take a moment to find a flat spine. You want to feel like your shoulders are pressing up towards the ceiling rather than rounding down to the floor. Shoulders are pressing back towards the ceiling, just like they do when we have our hands interlaced. Maybe go ahead and interlace your hands behind your back here. That'll trick those shoulders into going back. Maybe a little bend in the knees, depending on your hamstrings today. And now, let's release the hands, but keep the shoulders right where they are. Yeah. Taking the hands to the legs wherever they naturally go. And go ahead and lift up all of your toes. Big deep breath in. And letting it out. We'll take one more big deep breath in and letting it out. And we'll fold all the way down, relaxing the feet, relaxing the spine. That is a yoga pose we just did. We usually just rush through that one. Bending both knees, we'll take the hands down to the floor and walk the hands to the top of the mat, bringing the knees all the way down. And let's go ahead and come to sit. We'll come to sit with the bottoms of the feet to the floor for starters. Give your knees a big hug. Round your spine. Get as little bitty small as you can here. Maybe even taking your forehead or your nose to your knees. We'll release that, taking the legs long. Sitting up nice and tall. So here we are again, making an L shape with our bodies. Totally different now, when different parts of our bodies are working against gravity. We'll take the arms out and all the way up. We'll exhale the left hand forward and the right hand back. So we're twisting a little bit. Inhaling up. Exhaling, right hand comes forward, left hand comes back. Hands are just coming to shoulder height. Inhaling up, we'll do that both ways one more time. Exhaling to twist. Inhaling up. And exhaling to twist. Inhaling up. Alrighty, hands come on down. Let's take the bottoms of the feet to the floor. We're going to come into our boat pose. So boat pose, we might hold on behind the knees. We might take the heels to the floor. We might take the shins level with the floor. We might release the hands. The whole time though, we want to keep the low back lifted, the heart lifted. On your exhale, go ahead and release your boat pose. Hug the knees in, round that spine. Straighten it all out. We'll do another boat pose. Finding your pose, maybe heels to the floor, maybe shins lifted, maybe arms extended, as long as you've got your heart and your low back lifted. Big deep breath in and exhale to relax. Roll, rounding into your little egg shape. One more boat pose. Heels, shins, hands. From your boat, we're going to lay all the way down. As slowly or as quickly as you like. Laying all the way down. Arms reach up overhead. Toes reach down to the other side of the room. The other end of your mat. Big deep breath in, stretching, 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 and exhale to relax. Just letting the arms and legs flop. Bringing the bottoms of the feet to the floor. Bending the knees. We'll take a figure four pose. So we're taking the right ankle over the left knee. We can stay right here, or we can hold on behind the left thigh, or in the front of the left knee even. The right ankle can be flexed, activating that knee to protect that knee joint if that's a concern. Noticing the sensations all the way through the outside of that right leg. We'll take the left foot down, uncrossing the right. Bottoms of both feet to the floor. We'll switch sides. The left ankle over the right knee, maybe flexing through that left ankle, left foot. Holding on behind the thigh or maybe to the front of the right knee. Or maybe keeping the right foot down to the floor, whatever feels best to you today. Might be different than yesterday. Might be different than 3 hours ago. Might be different than tomorrow. Releasing the right foot on down, uncrossing that left leg. We'll take the arms out into cactus arms, so not a full T. We've got the elbows bent, the backs of the hands to the floor, like a touchdown has been made. Taking both legs long. And let's windshield wiper just the feet from side to side. Usually we do the knees with the knees bent, but we're gonna try see what kind of upper leg and hip control we have here. Windshield wipering those feet from side to side. And then let's wave the feet wide and together. Like something's wrong with your windshield wipers. Or I guess maybe that's how they are on a bus. It's been a while. Hopefully feeling the hip flexors stretching, opening up a little bit. Then we'll relax those feet, relax those legs. Inhaling, sliding the backs of the hands up overhead. And exhaling, bending the elbows, bringing the elbows in towards the rib cage. Backs of the hands are staying towards the floor. One more of those. Inhaling, arms all the way up. And exhaling, bending the elbows, hands coming all the way down. Next, we find our relaxation pose. We can stay right where we are, just right where we landed after those little movements and not move a muscle. We can extend the arms down alongside, take them out into a proper T, bring the bottoms of the feet to the floor or keep them long, whatever feels best to you. You can even come onto your side for your final relaxation today. Whatever feels best is what you should do. Finding a place where you feel supported, where you feel like you can relax, and you feel generally symmetrical from right to left. And just like at the beginning, but this time we're winding down the breath. We're taking a deep, gentle inhale and letting it out. Deep inhale and letting it out. And on your exhale, feeling flatter, feeling heavier, feeling more grounded into the floor. Just like that slide. breath back up, taking a few deep breaths, more active, inhaling and exhaling. Waking up the body by moving the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles. Maybe noticing a little more range of motion, just maybe. We'll bend the knees and roll to one side. And when you're ready, press on up into a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Shoulders are back and down. Spine is long. Eyes are open. Whatever you have left of your day, I hope you bring these feelings of relaxation and softness to them. Maybe even a little bit of joy. We'll bring the palms together and take our 3 deep breaths to close. Big deep breath in for the world. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Big deep breath in for our community. Exhaling, hands into the heart. A big deep breath in for ourselves. Exhaling, hands into the center. Thank you so much. Namaste.